All right, so budding rap marketing genius Straight Drop trolled the U.S. Marshals over the weekend, saying he was going to turn himself in, and instead he dropped his new music video, which has gotten like 300,000 views already, which would be a lot even for a known artist. But he got taken into custody today along with a guy named Cornelius Smith in Indiana. So Young Dolph's two accused shooters are in custody in Indiana, waiting to get sent back to Memphis, Tennessee to face justice. So the second guy, Cornelius Smith, was also charged in an attempted murder involving Young Dolph's brother, I guess at the scene of the crime of the, when they took Dolph's life. This is a confusing case. I didn't know Dolph's brother was there, I guess acting as his bodyguard, and they shot him. So Smith has been charged as well. He's awaiting extradition. Now, the internet's already full of theories and rumors about this, but this case is interesting and points out a lot of things wrong with a lot of stuff. So we don't even have to engage in rumor and innuendo. I just want to lay out some of the disturbing facts of the case and things that went before it. Now, first of all, this guy Straight Drop. Why is he on the street? So in 2017, when he was 18 years old, he gets into an argument and a fight with some people at a bowling alley in Memphis. He goes back to his car, boom, shoots 3 of them. None of them died, thankfully. And Straight Drop, now this is per, and we're going to play some of the video footage of this, per the judge in the case. Straight Drop shoots these 3 people after an argument, and because he's, quote, so cooperative and so good in jail, he gets 5 years. But then he only does 6 months, and he, I guess, writes a letter to the judge, and they let him out early. So he shoots 3 people and only does 6 months. Now listen to the judge tell the story in his own words.
So well behaved in prison, he was given probation and released.
After 6 months, he filed a petition to ask for probation because he'd done all these classes and he'd gotten arranged to have a job with a paving company when he got out and done all this, and came to court, and everyone agreed. We didn't even have a hearing. Everyone agreed that he had no record, admitted to what he did, and he had done all this stuff while in prison, and they agreed to put him on probation.
Now, that video was posted to Straight Drop's Instagram account. I don't know, is this supposed to make him look good or bad? I mean, I think to a lot of people it makes him look like he gave information to get out early, and that's certainly possible, but even darker and more disturbing than that is could just be another example of an old practice from the Jim Crow South, where if a black person did something violent to other black people and didn't cause any fuss for the law or the white people, he wasn't punished very much because maybe he was needed at work on Monday morning. And the way this judge kind of talks, you know, he was good in jail, so we'll give him a second chance. I mean, he shot 3 people. I assume they were black. And from the description of the case, that he got into an argument, he ran back to the bowling alley and got a gun and came back. In the state of Michigan, for example, I know for sure that qualifies you for first-degree murder. Even leaving the scene for a few seconds to retrieve a gun, well, then you could have just gotten in your car and left. So if you came back, that's premeditation. So he premeditatedly shot 3 people. He did 6 months in jail. Something's fishy with that. It's either he was telling, or it's a classic example of black lives not mattering to the judge. Maybe he just wanted to process the case and get it off his plate, and thus this young guy was still floating around. I'll just leave you with the judge's final statement, and we'll move on to the next part. The first time he used a gun, the first time he used a gun, we gave him some slack because of him immediately cooperating and doing everything. Now, as the drama with Dolph's shooters being wanted was dominating the news, an actual CMG Records exec from not too long ago was getting sentenced for a guilty plea in court. He got 10 to 14 years in Charlotte for an incident, I think in 2016, a year before somebody tried to kill Dolph in Charlotte with the 100 shots. This guy pled guilty to shooting about 50 rounds at the same event. I think it's like a black college event that Dolph was later. Someone tried to shoot him a year later. Howard Keon Wright was sentenced to 10 to 14 years in prison after admitting to a range of charges stemming from a 2016 shooting in Charlotte, North Carolina. Wright's been a known associate of Yo Gotti for years, said to be fulfilling roles both as road manager and actually the vice president of Gotti Music Group. Wow. Now, Wright entered his guilty plea on the day that the trial was supposed to begin, so they were negotiating down to the wire. He had two co-defendants, Kevin Thompson, who also entered a guilty plea to gun charges, and a guy named Derek Bolton, who had already taken his case to trial, was found not guilty, actually. And it happened back at the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the CIAA's annual tournament, at about 5 in the morning in February of 2016. A Nissan Altima shot about 50 rounds into the lobby of a Hyatt hotel and fled, and the police chased him. This guy Wright, Keon Wright, again, Yo Gotti's former road manager and some type of executive position in CMG. He ran from the car. They caught him with the guns. No one was injured as a result of the shooting, but he did drop 40 to 50 rounds. And he ended up pleading guilty to 5 counts of discharging a firearm into occupied property, discharging a firearm into an occupied vehicle, and a bunch of other gun charges. And while the guys didn't have to state their motives during their guilty pleas, I doubt if it's a coincidence that that same event, the CIAA, is where the infamous 100 rounds at the bulletproof SUV happened with Dolph just 1 year later. And in that incident, if you remember, Black Youngster, just like this guy Straight Drop, was, everyone just knew he did it and he was going to go to jail because they found a van that had been rented in Black Youngster's name that had the guns, I guess, that the ballistics matched the guns that were shot at Dolph's truck. But, I mean, you know, if there's no real evidence and people don't you know, they get a lawyer and they don't make a statement, it's up to the police to really present some real evidence. And, you know, I was explaining to someone today, to Render, who's behind the camera right now, like, okay, so I have a studio, different people come through, street people, whatever. What if somebody picked my keys up and went and did something with the car and came back and set the keys back down? I mean, that might sound crazy, but stuff like that could happen. So Black Youngster must have had an explanation like that, like he rented a car as part of the CMG entourage or something, and he didn't know what happened. And he got questioned and didn't say anything, and no charges were ever brought. But of course, in that case, nobody was hurt. Dolph had the bulletproof SUV, and 100 rounds bounced off of it. So whatever was going on was serious, because that was probably attempt number 2 on Dolph's life. And then attempt number 3 happened a few months later. In September of 2018, he was at the Lowe's Hotel on Hollywood and Highland in Los Angeles, and his entourage and Yo Gotti's entourage were in the valet area of a hotel parking lot. Melee ensued. Dolph ends up on the ground. Someone shoots him a couple times. It was initially reported he was in critical condition, but I don't think he ever was. But he was shot, went to the hospital with bullets in him, and somebody said Yo Gotti was there or had the gun, and he was pulled in for questioning, but of course, he was never charged that time. And when Yo Gotti got out of jail for the day or two they held him for the Hollywood thing, he wiped his Instagram clean, and he put up one post that said, "I'll be back when the streets are ready." And of course, that's quite a different strategy than we've seen on Straight Drop's Instagram during this whole thing. He's putting out new music videos. He's putting up, or somebody putting up videos of the judge in his prior case. Now that seems pretty weird, but he has managed to squeeze about 1 million views out of the couple music videos he's done since Dolph's passing. So it's kind of dark, but he's taking advantage of things no less than Ki77er or any of these other rappers do. So if he didn't do it or manages to, whatever, if Straight Drop's not convicted of anything, which, you know, people get questioned all the time and didn't do it. I guess he'll be a real street guy, and he'll have a career ahead of him. We'll see. And it could be quite wild to see just what Straight Drop and his partner Cornelius Smith get to talking about now they're in custody, or it could be anticlimactic. Just look at Delaine Maxwell, the girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, of course, who hung himself in custody and had the case involving the younger than adult women. She didn't release any of the big secrets that most people assumed she had about rich, famous, and powerful men. Maybe she didn't know any. But Straight Drop's in custody now. He's looking at first-degree murder charges along with Cornelius Smith. They say these are the two guys in the surveillance tape that hit Dolph at Makita's Cookies. So we're going to see if Straight Drop and his guy Cornelius can stand as tall as Delaine, Death Before Dishonor, Maxwell, El Prophet, American Dope.